So we've talked about authentic leadership, and probably the next logical question is, where does authenticity come from, and how do we practice it in the day-to-day? Because it really is about how we show up in the day-to-day as leaders. So we've got 4 practices that we want to go over as it relates to authenticity, and the first one is authentic sharing. So authentic sharing is really drawing on the power of vulnerability. Brené Brown, who wrote Daring Greatly and other books, defines vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. And she says, really think about it. Of course, leaders have to navigate risk, uncertainty, and emotional exposure every single day in their leadership roles. And when leaders tend to choose more self-protection or persona over transparency, when they tend to choose and value metrics more than people, work becomes actually dehumanizing. And this, of course, leads to disengagement. So when people are disengaged, it erodes innovation. It squelches talent and creativity, the very things that organizations need from their talent pool. So again, think about a leader that truly inspired you. Someone who maybe had a really huge impact on the trajectory of your career, maybe even of your life. And probably they inspired you from both the head to a degree, but probably even more so from the heart. They very likely opened up about their values, their beliefs, about what was important to them, about their very sense of purpose. And I'm often so touched when I work with my coaching clients, with leaders, and they'll talk about, their sense of purpose and, what things they really want to contribute to the organization, and the impact that they really want to have on their employees. And I'll often ask them, so how do your employees actually know this? And they very often say no. So this is a wonderful opportunity to do more authentic sharing, to let others really in a little bit and see you as a human, really, as a leader. So what it's not is saying everything we think and feel in any given moment with no regard to impact. What it is, though, is really being vulnerable and letting others really see who they're following. And when we do this, we really give others permission to do the same. So the second authenticity practice is authentic listening, and that's about drawing on the power of presence. So much like authentic sharing models for others and your employees to be able to, speak openly and do the same, so does authentic listening. This really gives people an opportunity to open up and to demonstrate what Patrick Lencioni calls workplace vulnerability. And workplace vulnerability exists when employees will admit mistakes and ask for help, learn from failures, and most of all, take risks. So we want employees to do that, and we want them to feel safe about opening up to do that. So authentic listening really is about 3 things. It's about being present and tuned in and calm and engaged when someone's talking with you. It's also about being curious. So postponing judgment for now, and just really tuning in and trying to really understand the employee's experience. And then finally, it's about empathy. So really trying to actually get into the employee's world and understand their experience from their perspective. So the third authenticity practice is authentic serving, and that's drawing on the power of empowerment. So over the years, I've probably asked hundreds of employees about exemplary leaders. Again, leaders that had a huge impact on them. And the things that they say are things like, they cared about me as a person. They really asked for my input. They empowered me. They trusted me. They took an interest in my career. So what I recognized, what we all recognized, was that these lists were so much about the employee. It's how the leader was really showing up to serve the employee as a servant leader. And that's what authentic serving is about. Because when employees feel that, of course they're going to work harder, they're going to take more risks, they are going to challenge themselves in a way they didn't think possible, and ultimately be more productive. So Margie Worrell, who wrote Find Your Courage, says that leadership is not about the leader, it's about those people being led. So authentic serving is about challenging employees beyond their own comfort zone, and quite frankly, beyond your comfort zone. It's also about unleashing talent in ways that people didn't think was possible, and it's also about genuinely supporting an employee's growth and development. So the fourth authenticity practice is authentic appreciating. And that's drawing on the power of gratitude. So we've probably all been on the receiving end of disingenuous or inauthentic, even perfunctory feedback. And we get it. It rings hollow, right? I think it falls sort of flat or feels like people are checking something off a list. On the other hand, we've all been on the receiving end of really genuine acknowledgement. And that has a very different effect. We typically feel so much more motivated and inspired and engaged. We want to do even a better job. So authentic appreciation really is about two things. It's first of all about being engaged and recognizing when your employees are doing things well. So it's like having your antenna up for things that are working. And let's face it, we typically give and receive feedback more around what's going wrong and have our antenna up for that. So it's also recognizing really unique talents in your employees, things that are special that they, again, may not see even in themselves. And then the second piece is actually communicating that well. So it's giving very specific feedback around what you're seeing and observing, and also sharing the impact, why it's so needed, and the effect that it's having on people. And thirdly, it's about sincerely expressing gratitude for that.